I've witnessed a tiny element of man's atrocities, and they blow me away. You know, they are the most distressing of things, because as humans we think we are civilized, we think we are better than animals, but in many ways seeing a camp like that, or seeing the atrocities that again I've seen on the tiniest levels, shows that we have imagination in the way we can kill. And it's a remarkable thing. But perhaps as a soldier before, you learn to see those things, to absorb those things, of course to learn and be affected by them, but at the same time, if you have a job to do, to move on from that. And also, what I'm doing here is, perhaps the whole reason is because of the neighbouring camp, isn't it? It's a celebration of life. And I write songs about life, I write songs about what it is that connect human beings, and so getting up on stage for me is, you know, not only easy after doing that, but perhaps even easier, having written songs about that kind of thing, to felt that to a level. I find it relates to a lot of how I feel about the world and about humans. Yeah, every song I write is about a personal experience. I'm just foolish enough to then put it out for public consumption. And yeah, they all are inspired by a real life moment, and when I sing it, I try and recall that moment, try and relive that moment, find something that will make me go back to that place. That's the notion of a performance. And then what I suppose I connect to with an audience is the fact that it hopefully means something to them. It hopefully triggers a memory, an idea, thought within themselves, and we find connection through that. Yeah, I travel a load. I've been in 113, 114 towns and cities this year, but each time I get up on stage and I play the songs that I love to an audience who've turned up and travelled to come and see it, I'm doing something that I really thoroughly enjoy, and you know, so other than the travel, the job itself is easy, and you know, as jobs go, come on, I'm not, you know, I'm not having the difficulties that a doctor or nurse may go through. There are so many other jobs that are much harder. No, I really have been limited to an acoustic guitar. The acoustic guitar made me write songs like a troubadour, and those resulted in slower, more melancholic songs. The second album was the same way of songwriting, but surrounding myself with a band. This time I have been writing on the instrument I learnt on originally, and that's the electric guitar, and by doing that it's freed me up to write the songs that I always wanted to write, just wasn't able to before. Well, you know, along the way I do different things. You know, each album, although they're probably defined by their singles, but actually if you investigate within the albums, there is diversity in the music itself. And in the recording, of course, I use electronic music as well as the real instruments. And so within each song, you know, there's plenty of diversity. I get involved with other people, as I have with Sonique, the French rapper, to do what he does. I've worked with dance DJs in house music, in Ibiza, where I come from. As to whether I'll dedicate a whole album to that, who knows? I normally have a rough list of what's going on, and you know, and I may change it a fraction just before I go on stage. But normally, when you know, and sometimes I change them as I'm on the stage, too. But generally, I give my band a little warning about what's coming up beforehand. 3 albums, so I've played, you know, 10 of the 10 songs from my first album I've been playing for the last 7 years on tour. They would perhaps become more tiresome if I was just playing those, but I added another 10 with my second album, and I've added another 12, 13 even with my new album. And I think to add, you know, new material always means that the set changes, and it's fun to play. Now, as a band, we find new ways within the songs to enjoy themselves, within interaction of the songs, and every day something else will make a song of more meaning. It will bring back another memory, and most importantly, of course, there's an audience there, and to them the songs are fresh. And so if I were a cook and my best meal that I provided was lasagna, and every day someone said, come on, give me your lasagna, I love it so much, it would be a pleasure to make it for them. And for me, I find the same on stage. I enjoy the cities that I visited a lot, because I think there are so many beautiful buildings. And you know, obviously I come from London. A lot of our buildings have been knocked down, rebuilt. You know, particularly yesterday in Krakow, I think it's a really stunning place. And then of course the people who make up those cities give it its spirit and its character, and I've always been welcomed warmly and enthusiastically. And so for me, it's, you know, it's those two things.